Welcome to KRA's The Hub, the official podcast of KRA Corporation. And now get ready to hear workforce topics and trends you need to know on the go.
So welcome to The Hub. This is Jonathan Overall, the host of KRA's The Hub, and I'm on site here in New Orleans, Louisiana at the Jobs for the Future JFF Horizon Summit. And I'm joined by a guest, Rich Simmerman, and he is the CEO of Cantaloupe AI. Rich, it's great to meet you here at this conference.
It's great to meet you, Jonathan. I'm glad I got to meet you yesterday at the pitch competition, and now I'm sitting at your table hanging out.
That's right. It's been an opportunity to meet a lot of new folks. And you mentioned, we'll start off there, the pitch competition. You are a CEO, the founder of Cantaloupe AI. Tell us, what is the pitch, and then what is Cantaloupe AI?
Yeah, so we were invited to pitch our venture at JFF because we're in the workforce space. And what we do at Cantaloupe is we replace job applications with voice interviews for every applicant in hospitality. So when you apply for a job at a hotel or restaurant that's using Cantaloupe AI, you don't upload a resume, you speak your way through the interview.
One thing I really liked about your presentation is that you shared your story. And you actually worked in the hospitality industry. You're from this region, so you know the area. And you talked about some pain points that you experienced in that business, going from front lines to management. And you took that and you translated that into a solution, a business. Tell us about your story and how those dots connected.
Yeah, so we're in New Orleans. 1 in every 4 people in the city work in hospitality. It's literally the way of life here. And I was in that number. I worked at a fantastic coffee shop. It was a really uniquely New Orleans coffee shop in the Uptown area, the neighborhood of Carrollton. And I became the manager of that coffee shop years later. And everything I loved about working at that coffee shop went away. Because instead of doing the things that made me happy, like getting to know our guests and training our new hires, I was always looking for their replacement constantly in an office reading resumes. If I had hired someone on Monday, there was a 1 in 4 chance they'd be gone by Sunday of the next week because turnover in hospitality is miserably crippling. It's 80%. For some businesses, it's higher, like fast food, over 100%. So you're always doing that. You're always thinking about the next hire. And because you have 2 things, you have a massive applicant pool typically, and a massive need to hire, you never really get to know the applicants very well for what matters. We're kind of just guessing. And that continues to feed the miserable cycle of early quits. It's terrible for the workforce because when someone starts a job at a hotel or restaurant and it's not for them and they quit early, they're much further when it comes to livable wages and career stability. For the business, when that happens, what I described is what we call a bad hire. So someone that quits early, typically first 90 days, costs the business over $8,000 on average. So it's miserable. And our theory, which has been proven, is that lack of quality screening is a major contributor to early quits. And that's why we built Cantaloupe AI.
That's great. I know, just firsthand, working in workforce development, KRA works on the front lines, career services, business services, and our teams are continually getting feedback from retail, hospitality, the pain points of finding people that want to do those jobs, but also going through that process of hiring and training. There's a shortage out there right now for job seekers in that arena. As you guys have been testing the market and going to businesses, one, how receptive are businesses to Cantaloupe AI, and what has been some of the impact that you've already seen?
That's a really great way of framing it. What's interesting about hospitality is we have the opposite workforce problem with nearly every other group. We have plenty of workers. In fact, it's growing. Right now, it's 1 in every 10 people in the U.S. work in hospitality. In 5 years, it'll be 1 in every 8. That's led by things like Gen Z and hustle culture. You get off your 9 to 5, and then you go work as a bartender. It's also rising cost of living. People with software engineering degrees, it's not uncommon to see them work at a restaurant or hotel, especially in markets like Austin. So we've got a lot of great people. The issue is oversaturation and a lack of quality screening. So with the rise of things like Quick Apply, the average job now has 500 applicants in hospitality. That is overwhelming for hiring managers. They need to screen as many of them as possible, and you would think that they're armed with great tools to do that. Billion-dollar applicant tracking systems, quote, AI, it's a buzzword, right? And it's not actually helping most applicants, especially in hospitality, be adequately screened. And it's really not helping hiring managers make good, quick decisions. So when we went in, the first thing is we don't use the word AI frequently. It's coming up a lot in this conversation, but it's not really something that comes up in customer conversations. It's in our name, but that's actually the extent that we use it. When we talk to a customer, we always say, tell us about what it's like to get this place staffed. That customer conversation turns into a therapy session. Oh my gosh, we can't keep people. There's this. I have so many applicants. I have this and that. Sometimes we turn off. Indeed, it's a miserable thing, but they all share something in common. One is we have high turnover, so people quit here frequently. We don't know what we're doing. The second thing is we have so many applicants. And the third thing is I'm guessing. I'm always taking a guess. What does a resume really say about someone who wants to become a dishwasher or a line cook? Nothing. In fact, it's the opposite. It's asking a very diverse workforce that 20% are immigrants, 55% are women, and 1 in 4 don't have a high school diploma. And you're asking this workforce to apply for the job the same way that nurses apply or people on Wall Street. It's ridiculous. So hiring managers understood that resumes suck. That was the first thing. They also understand that they have such high turnover that they'll try anything. And they all agree on this one point. The first round interview is the most important. When they go to that first round interview with an applicant, that's when they say, hey, this is or is not the fit. So if we can take that first round interview and give it to every single person that's interested in working here, you're going to make a statistically better fit. That's on the hiring side. And that's why managers get really excited, because they know that translates into a lot of money saved. For our pilot customers, that average annual savings is about $162,000 a year in reduced early quit events. For our pilot, which is still a controlled group of businesses, we've been able to successfully reduce early quits by 46%. So almost half people are quitting less in the first 90 days.
That right there, I can tell you, I think it transcends all industries. And those are two major pain points for businesses, early quits and saving money. And I think that's part of what allows us to tell the story and demonstrate the value of our impact in what we can do and show that to employers in real numbers. Now, you mentioned, again, AI is in your name. You mentioned that you don't speak about AI continuously with your clients, but there are other AI platforms within the career space. What sets Cantaloupe apart from the rest?
That's a great question. It's really hard to cut through noise. There are so many great innovators. There's so many screening tools. There are really 3 core things that make Cantaloupe unique. The first is that we are exclusively for hotels and restaurants. We understand that hiring in this space is quite literally unlike any other. The things we look for, the transferable skills, the personalities, the myopic details that we would just call a hiring manager's intuition. I like that guy, or she's the one. We have spent the past 2.5 years obsessing over that and turning it into data. The second thing is the application of voice data. A lot of screening tools have existed and asking you to take personality tests and click buttons or get on camera. Our workforce is not comfortable on camera, and they have way too little time on their hands to click a bunch of random buttons. But everyone can speak, usually. That conversation, speaking back with our agent Cleo and having her understand you and also really uniquely understand what that specific business and role is looking for, and then making an instant thought, this person's going to be a good fit or they aren't. That's really unique. So you can capture such powerful data with a voice. And we are the very first mover in voice AI and hospitality on the hiring end. So that component is really important. And I'd say the last thing is we don't stop at the hire. So anyone can put a ChatGPT wrapper around something and develop a screening tool. That's not what we did. But anyone can, create a screening technology. But for us, we want to understand why people quit and help stop it before it happens for hotels and restaurants. There's no way you can do that without being on the inside, right? What if there's a bad hiring manager at night? Or what if there's a life circumstance that happens? Some generalist AI tool can't predict that, but we can, because our sentiment tracking follows the journey from hire all the way through. first anniversary, etc., continuously checks in anonymously with the employees and then turns them into action items for hiring managers. And they're like, hey, like your night cooks, they're really doing a great job. Have you thought about upskilling? Have you thought about promotion here? Things of that. We have an inside look at every single hotel and restaurant that we serve. And that you can't replicate that.
That's great. Really a tool that helps to boost the output, supporting the workforce, supporting the company. Now, as I mentioned here at the top, this theme of the conference is Dare to be Brave. Now, you're an entrepreneur. You started a business. That takes some bravery, some planning, some thought. What does that mean to you, and how has that been an inspiration for you stepping out and launching a business?
That's a really deep, loaded question. I'm 26. This is my second company, and and sometimes it's not smart. There's no other way around it. It is not the easy, quick path to career stability. It is not the easy, quick path to financial stability. And it's really tough to constantly travel, to constantly pitch, to always try to think ahead. But it is bravery in a lot of ways. When you see something and you're like, wow, I can do that, or I want to do that, or you think about a group of people and you're like, I've got to help these people. And for me, those are that's the workforce and hospitality. I was in that number. I will stop at nothing to build something that makes it better for people to make higher wages and find career stability in the hotel and restaurant space. And unless you're really, really bought into something like that, everything else becomes more challenging. So because I care so much about this space, and I'm in a city where 1 in 4 people work in this space, you have to be willing to make sacrifices and to get it right. If you really do get it right, you make some good money at the end of it, which we hope for. But more importantly than that, you'll leave a lasting impact on a massive group of people. So it's a bravery thing. It's maybe a stupidity thing in some ways to go and do this, but it's it's daring and it's exciting, and I live for it. It feeds my personality type.
That's great. I love to hear that, and I think that's what makes atmospheres like this so powerful, because you're around other thought leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, education and workforce development all coming together. And I believe everything you just mentioned can apply to anyone, whether they're working on the front lines, they're leading a team of people, they're an executive director leading an organization, that we need more of that, even in workforce, to think innovatively about the uncertain times that we're in to truly carve a path forward. Lastly, as we close this up, you've been here over the last couple of days. There have been a lot of great sessions, opening sessions, closing sessions, and workshops along a wide range of topics. Have there been any aha moments or ideas that stand out to you that you say, you know what, I think I can take that and apply that to the work that we're doing, or maybe it sparked an idea? Do you have any closing thoughts or aha moments from the conference thus far?
Yeah, I've been to quite a few different things in this conference, had a lot of conversations, happy hour, things of this sort. And there's one very specific thing that I've taken away from this that stood out, and it's that it's obviously workforce related, and it's that this massive need for skilled laborers is coming very quickly. It's like there is a shortage, like you talked about, in a lot of spaces, and we're here basically. I think that's the biggest thing, is we're at that point right now where we've got to get people into roles quickly, and we don't have enough people in some capacity, or we don't have adequate tools to get them in there, and that's an economic problem of the now. I think when I walked into this conference, I was like, oh, this is 2035, 2040, but it's not. And I've gotten that from everyone's conversation. It is such an urgent situation right now to get people into great career roles and livable wages. Because what's going to happen? AI is going to displace a lot of people and work. It just is. We don't know exactly where, but it's going to soon. Not 2050. So we start thinking about that. Every conversation I've had here has been around, okay, what can we do now? And that has been the biggest takeaway. It's kind of jarring in some ways. You're like, oh, wow, like panic. But then you, as a founder or as someone that's around this space like you are, we start thinking about how we can make an impact too. So that's been the biggest thing, is this massive tide of we've got to get people into long-term, stable roles now, not later.
That's great. A sense of urgency, a sense of inspiration as we're here tackling these issues. Rich, again, it's been great to meet you. I look forward to staying connected with you and looking for ways that we can work together to solve some of these solutions in different markets around the country. Enjoy the rest of the conference and have a great rest of the stay here.
Thank you for listening to KRA's The Hub. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. To learn more about KRA Corporation, visit www.kra.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll be back soon with a new episode.